What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I'm here with Anthony, Michelle, and Mike, and we are discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And before we get started, I'm going to apologize if I sound weird. I'm dealing with a sore throat and some runny sinuses, so I'm not feeling great. But I wanted to talk about this movie before too much time passed. So let's get to it. First thoughts about the film, because I've been hearing like mixed reviews from everywhere.
I think this is probably one of the most divisive Marvel films in in MCU history. Like there are other films where people are like really like it and really don't like it, but nothing like this. Like there's such a steep divide between people who said this is one of the best things that they've ever seen to this is the absolute worst Marvel movie they've ever put out. Like there's almost and then there are like people like myself who just I'm like, okay. And I usually think about Ant-Man movies like in the middle of the MCU, and I thought this would be different, but it's basically no different. It's kind of a mid-tier Marvel movie to me. It just as the other Ant-Man movies have been. There were really good moments of it. There were moments I could have really done without, and there were other. I mean, the last end credit scene, like I was that shit got me. I was like, oh fuck. And I think Michelle was like, the fuck's wrong with you? I was like,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, there were
shit,
some
that
people
shit
in
was
my
crazy.
screening, the lady who was sitting next to me, and I guess her partner, her boyfriend, husband, whatever, when that finished, she was like, who is that? And all I could think in my head was, see, Anthony, this is what I told you. People are gonna have to watch the Disney Plus show.
That's true too, because
Exactly.
we went with my mother and my daughter, and they both watched it and they're like what's going on? I'm like, well, y'all didn't watch the Disney Plus show, so I can't get into it.
What I told Michelle that night was, yeah, it looks like Marvel has decided to make it where people are gonna have to watch shows now. Like I was thinking that they weren't gonna do that. They weren't doing it, but now they've decided to go all in on this Disney Plus show thing.
Mhm.
So can I have
But why wouldn't they do that,
I
though?
told you so moment? Because I said this.
Because they had just started. They just made it now
But
where
I
you have to.
said
But
this
before,
all the way
no,
at the beginning,
before,
what was gonna happen. I was like, because otherwise,
okay, that's not what you said. You said that's not. You didn't say that's what was gonna happen. You were saying that's what they had to do at the time.
That's what they need to do because it wouldn't. Otherwise it didn't make sense for them to have it. Otherwise, it would have been just like DCEU, where you have the shows doing one thing, you have the movies doing another, and you have the comics doing another. And it doesn't make sense. Even for DC, it doesn't make sense. That's why James Gunn is about to revamp the whole thing. It just
That's why DC they have a goody Flash and a very bad and another Flash that is probably going to ruin that movie. But it's like, why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't they like incorporate this good business? It's good business sense.
I feel like y'all are still misunderstanding what I'm saying. At the time, they were not doing it, and you're like, people are gonna have to watch. No, the way the movies were coming out, you did not have to watch the shows. But now they're making it clear with the Loki thing. Okay, well now y'all are gonna have to watch shows now. I'm not saying it wasn't going to happen. I'm just saying at the time you didn't have to.
No, I
And
think
I
at
just
the,
didn't
I think
think
at
they.
the time you said it wasn't going to happen.
I was saying it wasn't going to happen, and now I'm saying it looks like they decided to do that.
Well, yeah.
Before
we were saying that
because if it was going to be a thing, they would have been done it, but they hadn't done it yet. But they're doing it
They
now.
did it with Multiverse of Madness.
Not really, because you didn't need to watch the show. You didn't have to
WandaVision.
watch WandaVision to know what was going on.
Mm.
You
No.
didn't. You didn't.
No,
Because I know people.
They
I
told
know
you
people who
exactly
did.
what her problem was in the
See,
movie.
this is exactly the argument that we had when we were reviewing
Yeah.
WandaVision,
Right.
Multiverse of Madness.
And this is a person who agrees with y'all, and she said that no, people didn't have to watch
No, all the
show
movies,
to watch
all
WandaVision to see, to understand what's going on in Multiverse of Madness.
Right, because I have people that I talk to are Marvel fans. They don't have Disney Plus. So up until this point, they were good with all the movies and knowing what was going on. But this movie here, you actually have to know what is going on with the multiverse, knowing what's going on with Loki. You have no choice. However, business side, yeah, we have to do this because we have to get our subscribers up. That's the issue. So we need to make everything connected. We need you to pay for Disney Plus. And I don't care if you watch it or not, but you need to pay for Disney Plus. And if you don't watch it, you watch Ant-Man. That makes you go home and then start watching episodes of Loki. And that's the whole point.
And the other thing is being pressed for time, trying to keep the movies at 2 hours. They're not going to want to waste time on trying to explain. Because at least with the Multiverse of Madness, it didn't take much to explain what was going on with Wanda. She was a central character in the movie. But
so which movie they wanted to have kids in? Oh wait, that was the TV show.
No.
Okay, so
in the show, she tells you she had children and they took them away.
Right.
They tell you that, and now she's looking for her kids. So they explain it to you without you having to watch the whole show. Now, if a White Vision pops up and you're like, "What the hell is this?" Then they're gonna have to. You're gonna have to go see White Vision to figure out what the hell
I guess we can agree to disagree with that because I still feel like
no,
you're saying about Multiverse of Madness, but I feel like that was the Cliff Notes version, and for someone who wants the information, the Cliff Notes like if I had not watched WandaVision and I went to go watch Multiverse of Madness, I want the background story, but I mean that's just me.
But you're talking about tiers of viewers. Yeah. There's your viewers who want to know everything, and the viewers who just want to watch the movie. And the majority of the people who watch these movies just want to watch the movie. You know, the fans like you and I, we're the minority.
We're a growing minority though.
We are, but there is still a large group of people who they are okay with what the movie gives you. They're not watching extra things when they go home. They're not watching these shows. They're like straight they're not even getting the little hints that Marvel put out in every movie that made them all connect.
Yeah.
Like there are some people still don't understand that you never hand Tony Stark anything, and that started with movie 1. Someone always has to get it out of his hand and hand it to him. You don't directly hand it. They don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know why Thor is called Point Break. They don't know that. But it's okay. But they enjoy the movies like we enjoy it, but not the depth and complexity. While I'm talking like I'm in class, not the depth and complexity that we enjoy it with.
Yeah.
However, this movie, you gonna have to like dig deep, because if not, you're gonna get lost. Yeah. You're gonna get left.
Yeah, like you would have needed to have seen the first Ant-Man movie, and you would have needed to see Loki to know kind of what the heck this is.
Not necessarily first Ant-Man movie. You don't.
Well, the Darren thing.
But they showed you Darren. They gave you a quick flash of Darren, and she said it. The bee that tried to kill me in my bedroom. I mean, you got that, and they showed Darren.
But I mean, you definitely have to at least watch the final episode of Loki, because I mean that's the one where He Who Remains explains the whole Kang thing. You will get lost if you don't understand that. That's one of the basic things. He basically summarized why there's so many Kangs, what happened, and why the multiverse is the way it is. And it's like you have to watch that.
And watch Spider-Man too, because it was introduced and talked about that in Spider-Man.
Yeah. So if you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, then you kind of get what's going on.
You get the multiverse.
You get the
in this movie? No.
Well, and if you watch Doctor Strange, you know about incursions. And, you know about the multiverse in that movie too.
Okay.
So between those two movies,
you get the multiverse.
You get the multiverse part of it. The Kang part you would get in the last episode of Loki.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my first impressions of this movie.
Okay.
It was like, I was like, I'm like, Mike, it had some good parts. Okay, it had a couple of good parts. There was a lot of wasted opportunity, I thought. I think they left a lot of things on the table they could have explored.
Okay.
I don't know. And then I felt like I was given a plot hole in this movie too, which I'm not going to explain.
Yeah, explain.
But well, actually, it's not really a plot hole. Well, last night we watched the last episode of Loki, so it kind of cleared it up for me because if there's just something about He Who Remains being the last one, but then he explained it last night because he was like, "Yeah, I'm the last one. I basically wiped everybody out and got rid of all the timelines and made this one timeline." Then I'm like, well, then why does this have all the other ones? When I remember, he's at the end of time, outside of time. And even when she kills him, he's like, I guess I'll see you again. Because he knows that he's going to come back. And we have to do it all over again.
Loki and Sylvie.
Yeah. It's going to come, it's going to happen all over again.
Yeah.
So I guess it really wasn't a plot hole, but I just don't like time. I really don't.
Yeah, we know. You don't like time travel. I
just don't like people messing with time travel.
We know.
We know.
I think we got that.
We know.
And I just want to say that Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer made the movie.
Yeah.
Highlights.
They made the movie. If it wasn't for the two of them, the movie would have really been bad. And the thing about Ant-Man movies, they're heist movies, and this wasn't really a heist movie. And
it's more of a ransom movie.
That kind of bothered me. It's like a fetch quest. It wasn't a heist movie, and that kind of bothered me too.
Okay. Well, my opinion of the movie is that it was the best MCU movie. Like, this is in my top 3 right here.
Really?
I truly enjoyed it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was just about to say.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
The way you were looking at him, I was like...
Where's the Michelle I know? That's not right.
Looking at you like I'm expecting him to be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" at any moment.
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, "Okay, I can understand if it's a good movie, but like top 3, like okay, I was really on what you was about to say."
Well, I'm with Mike, and that is what I'm hearing, and no one can quite explain it to me that they thought it was the top 3 Marvel movie. However, it's not even in my top 10. It's okay.
Yeah.
That is it.
Go along with that.
Yeah. I think for me, it falls into that category too. And I think I'm gonna be honest. MODOK kind of ruined the film for me.
MODOK was horrible.
I felt like he was in there way too much, didn't really serve a purpose, and it was irritating. And it just kind of, every time he appeared on the screen, it just kind of took me out of the story. And it bothered me because like when he first showed up, I was like, oh, okay, well, let me see what the big deal is about. Because of again, the show that came out last year, 2 years ago, I didn't watch it because it wasn't a character that I was even remotely interested in, even in the same way like, oh, a Moon Knight series. Oh, what is this about? Let me go check it out. MODOK, I was just kind of like, okay. And then when they revealed who it was funny at first. And I just thought it was just going to be a little throwaway thing, but no, he was like such a part of the movie, and it was really awkward, especially towards the end when his character was dying, and it was just awkward. It was really awkward. Took me out of the film.
It was like when fan service goes bad.
Right.
Yeah, I hated it when they talked to him. It's like when they were talking, you hear the music in the background, and all of a sudden it stopped. They'd be like, "Wait a minute!" And I'm like, "You got to do that every time." Like, and because the fact that again, here we go with the MCU retconning and changing character origins. It's like that's not who MODOK is in the comic books. It's like he has a different origin story. And I didn't really like that character in the first Ant-Man movie, and I really didn't like him in this movie. Yeah. It's like his face was weird, and I'm like, and it disturbed me. I still see that when I close my eyes, I still see it, and it scares me. I'm like, I can't do that shit.
I would have completely preferred if they just left the dinner thing out of it. Just like just left it the way it was when he came, and just not showed us that it was Darren, and just not done that. I would have preferred that much more.
Yeah,
definitely would have done without seeing his butt cheeks when they were shooting him up. Like, bruh, that's unnecessary.
So that part of it was probably the biggest turn off for me. Like, why is this here? I think the only other thing about this is there was so much hype about Jonathan Majors coming in as Kang and being like, when we hear Kang or when we've talked about Kang is supposed to be like the baddest motherfucker in the universe. And I feel like in this film, he wasn't quite that, but I think it wasn't that he wasn't a scary character, because I get that he's a scary character. I like the way that Jonathan Majors played him though, because it was like, I don't want to say it's understated, but you can kind of see how Kang can get in there and conquer a whole bunch of stuff, because he's charming at first. And that's what I felt more so for the film. It's like, you get the undercurrent that this is a being that you don't want to fuck with. But I don't think you really see it until the end of the film. And I was just kind of like, by the end of the film, like, you saw what the potential for that was going to be. And then you get the end credit scene. And I was just like, I want more. I want more now. I don't want to have to wait for it, And I think that probably, I don't want to say it bothered me, but I was expecting, I guess, Kang on a more grand scale in this movie, because they hyped it up so much to be that way. And it was just kind of like, I feel like it's almost like he was busting to get out, but they were holding him back, like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And I want the not yet part. I mean, but what he was in this film, he was magnificent. Like, I love him as this character, but I was just kind of sitting in my seat, like, I was waiting for the world to fall apart. And I was like, maybe that was just premature of me, because of course they're just starting phase 5. They're not going to give us everything there, but it's kind of like the way they were hyping it up, and he's worse than Thanos and stuff. And I was like, I don't quite see that yet. I see where the potential is there. And then when you get the congregation of Kangs at the end, I was like, oh, this is about to be some fun.
I'm not a writer for Marvel, but had I been in the room, I would have said, why are we trying to make who he is a reveal in this movie when we have already set him up as being the next big threat? Right? So they should have started the movie with the introduction with, you didn't have to show the other Kangs, but like, show him doing the stuff that he was doing when she touched the ship and saw into his mind. Like, they could have had a whole introductory sequence of him just destroying shit, and then like, then you see him captured. You don't know who captured him, and they just they exile him. And then the next time,
all the time that MODOK spent on the screen,
right? And then when she goes to see who crash land, and he looks up and you realize, oh shit, what's going to become of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, give us who he is in the beginning instead of holding it until the very end.
Yeah,
and so I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
they didn't give us.
I think that I got a good idea of how much of a badass he was when he was trying to convince Scott to go get his to get the power sphere, when he could literally move his pinky finger and kill them at a moment's notice. Like, the way that they showed how he uses his powers was outstandingly intimidating to me. Like, I felt like it showed like this is what he can do on a minuscule scale. And then when he was fighting everybody and disintegrating them with power bursts, I was just like, okay, the scale's getting bigger. It's like, I was already intimidated.
But that was towards the end, so it was supposed to be bigger by that point.
What I'm saying is, but like in the middle, you still got more of an idea of it. You saw you do it on a small scale. You can run your imagination and see what he could do on a bigger scale.
Or start the movie and like connect it to Tony's vision and have Avengers laying down like dead, and it pans up and you see him, and it's not Thanos.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
it's supposed to be a slow burn here because this is again the first movie he's been introduced in. We got to think back about Thanos' first movie he's been introduced in. And he was just sitting there like, okay, I guess I'll have to do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. We don't want to show all his cards now. We want to spread the cards out.
Though. It's kind of like the way that they promoted it. Yeah. It was almost like that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, and we can't. However, from the two characters that we believe, Michelle Pfeiffer, she was scared.
Oh, absolutely. Like that.
And Loki at the end was extremely scared. So we know that there's a lot more to this character, and even just the look on his face when he was just effing mad when he went down there was just bam, bam, bam. I'm just going to destroy everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't like how ants took him over, but he didn't die because of the ants. But 1,000-year-old ants took him over. However, he was still damaging even when he didn't have the suit, and he was beating up Ant-Man because Ant-Man was going to die.
Okay, so
he was whipping Ant-Man's ass.
Yeah, he was.
Let me tell you,
like he in Creed
stood out for me in that fight scene. They're sitting there fighting, and Ant-Man did his best to hold on, which I was like, okay, he's doing as well as a regular, as a regular human could. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's powered by the suit. So when he doesn't have the suit, he's just a regular person. So he was holding his own quite well for that. But the thing that really stood out to me was when Ant-Man would hit Kang, it'd just be like, when Kang would hit Ant-Man, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that for me, really in a very subtle way showed how powerful Kang was, because I felt like, oh, he holding his punches, but it was just the impact and that sound that it made versus Ant-Man hitting him and it just sounded like regular people punching. That to me probably showed Kang's strength and like how much we should fear him. Not saying that
he was 1% body fat, like he was solid muscle. and Scott's been on a book tour eating donuts and ho-hos.
Right. All you saw was that one arm, and you were just like, oh damn, like shit.
Yeah.
And you forget that Kang is a regular human. Like he's a regular human. Without the suit, he is all skill and combat skills and muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the other thing that really sold me, I think, on Kang's the potential for what he was going to be before we started seeing that show up a little bit more towards the end. Like you said, Michelle Pfeiffer's performance, like the moment she realized Kang was about to be an issue, even before that, when Cassie was messing with the quantum, what I forgot what, y'all know I'm not
receiver
a person.
Signal.
Yes.
Satellite.
The way her face changed and it got that fear, I was like, oh, she,
yeah,
she's aware, like she knows what this is about to lead into. And I mean, just throughout the whole film, the look on her face, her facial expression, her body expression, like she acted like a person who was scared. And the thing is, she was never physically threatened by Kang. She was basing all of this on what she saw when she touched the core.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She never like Kang seemed like he was really trying to, at that point, I don't even know if he was trying to charm her on purpose. I think Kang, for who he is, he really thought, oh, okay, you know what? She helped me. So now I'm going to help her. I'm going to help her get her time back. And I really think he was sincere about that. And even after she saw what she saw, I don't think he was holding that against her. He was like, okay, look, you helped me with this. Yes, I have to go and do all this stuff, but I'll take you back to your home. I'll give you your time back with your family, and I won't touch your planet. I think he was really sincere about that.
Yeah, he was.
She kind of turned on him and did what she did. That's when he was like, no, I'm going to burn all this shit down. And I was like, see, so That's with these villains. All you gotta do is be nice to them, be a friend, and but I mean, seriously, the fact that her fear was just based on what she saw and not anything that she actually experienced, I was like, yeah, she is selling this shit hard.
Yeah, I know I sound like I'm giving the Marvel writers a hard time, but I give them credit for once again giving us someone's trauma response. You know, she basically was like PTSD. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to talk about what happened. She never say anything, and as soon as you're singing the signal down, mm-hmm. and her whole demeanor, and then even when they got there, she was still, you could still see that she was in a trauma response mode. Like, I want to get my family and get out of here. Mm-hmm. That's all she could think about.
Yep.
And I give Marvel credit. They once again hit us with someone dealing with a traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like I'm the only one that was like, I thought Michelle Pfeiffer did okay. I liked her in the first half, like the first part of it, like leading up to them getting sucked into the quantum realm. I was like, okay, I get it. But it's like there were certain moments after that when she was in the quantum realm where I just didn't feel like there were just like certain, it's not the whole thing, just certain moments that really I didn't like. I wasn't really feeling her performance. And it's like not when like it's like when Kang like captured her. There were like certain moments that I wasn't really feeling it, and it's like I don't know. I just feel maybe I'm alone in that, but it's like it was just certain moments like her, and there's certain moments with Cassie where I was just like, that's like and it's like I feel weird about it because I want to like it. I want to be like, okay, they gave really good performances, but it's like between two, I'm like, I don't. It just didn't do it for me.
No, I think,
and I feel like it's just me, and I'm like, well, I just,
maybe on this podcast right now because I thought she was great.
Yeah, I thought so good. I mean, but I'm with you on Cassie though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what?
I'm with you with Cassie.
I like Catherine Newton. Okay, I mean, I know her from Supernatural. I didn't really care much for the character she played on Supernatural, so I'm a little biased in that. But I remember when her casting was first announced, I was a little confused. I was like, why? Because the girl who played grown Cassie in Endgame, I was like, I like her. She kind of, even in that little brief moment that we saw her, she felt like his Cassie grown up. And I don't know, Cassie in this film, I don't know, I just didn't feel connected to her.
I didn't either. And I want to know where she went to school, because all of a sudden she knows quantum physics and shit.
Right. I mean, come on now.
I mean, just because you with the scientists don't mean that that information just gets absorbed into your brain. I'm just saying.
She was being homeschooled.
She built the satellites and stuff on the side.
By who? Because if you think about it, she was talking about when she was working with the thing. She was like, if I had known this, if I had been able to build this while you were gone, I could have went and found you.
Well, it seemed like Hank was. It seemed like
she was still a child, so. Who was teaching her all of this stuff? Because
it seemed like Hank was.
Hank was gone too.
Was gone.
Okay. Everyone was gone. She just learned this when they came back.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Hank was blipped. Janet was blipped.
And Wasp was blipped.
Yes. What is her name? I can't. They were all blipped.
Hope.
Yes.
Hope. So
they were all blipped.
Yeah.
Scott
she learned that
realm.
Maybe it was Lawrence Fishburne and Goliath. Goliath was teaching her. Because nobody look. Hey, I got a theory. So we never found out that he was blipped. Did we ever find out that he was blipped? No. So and he has a habit of taking in young women who have lost their way and trying to help them with what they need help with.
Has that character even been introduced?
And that sounds so wrong.
In Ant-Man 2, in the second one.
Yes.
I don't even. Okay,
yes,
I don't
Ghost was
remember.
the whole villain in Ant-Man 2.
Yes,
he's the one.
You're right.
And it's like he tried to help her get the cure that would help stop her from phasing in and out at inopportune times. So
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of forgot much of the plot of Ant-Man 2, and I didn't go back and rewatch it.
It was quite.
You know why? Because Luis was not in Ant-Man 3, which is another point of contention that I have with this movie that I did not get a recap. I did not hear Luis go through all the things, the Merlot tastings and the softball games that he encountered, and to explain everything to me. If he would have been in this movie, everybody would have understood everything.
Yeah,
I would have preferred that over MODOK.
And I'm okay with Darren being in this movie because that will just show what happened to him from the first time he entered the quantum.
Care.
I know we don't care, but he didn't have to be this. Like he just, I don't know. He could just been at the bar. I don't know.
Don't care about that character. Like at all.
He was a douchebag in the movie. He got what he deserved. I didn't need to see him again. Period.
True. Well, you know the rule of sequels in the third movie, the person from the first movie always comes back. So. They hit that trope.
See, this brings back my anger with how they did with Taskmaster and Black Widow. It's like you don't recast characters if you don't need to. It's like there's, I mean,
because we can keep them for later.
And like we said, he's kind of pointless. It's just like Bill Murray's character was kind of pointless. They just wanted to have Bill Murray in this movie. That's all it was, because he was in there for a total of 5 minutes and he turned on her. They could have gotten anybody to play that part. Yeah. And I'm like, you wasted Bill Murray. You had Bill Murray, of all people, and you gave him this role. And I was
right. Well, as the creepy ex-lover of Janet.
I like
that was so awkward. I'm like,
it is, but I liked it though.
I just want, because I want to continue on this positive thing. Another positive thing about the movie, one of the negative things I heard was that Ant-Man and especially the Wasp wasn't really in it a lot, like especially Hope. But then I was like, the title is like a dual title, Ant-Man and the Wasp, because Hank is also Ant-Man and he did his thing, and Janet is the Wasp and she did her thing. Mm-hmm. So it's really like both of them, all of them,
the
Ant-Man, both Ant-Mans and both Wasp. I actually like that.
I liked it too, because I feel like even though we knew about Hank from the first film, we really didn't know too much about Janet, except for, most of her existence or whatever that we know about her has been what happened to her in the quantum realm. But I like the fact that they showed us, okay, what she did, because when they rescued her, it was just kind of like, okay, she was in the quantum realm for 30 years. And I kind of wondered at that time, I was like, okay, what the hell did she do for 30 years? And we kind of get to see that in this. And it was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So she
even when she attacked Kang, she turned into a wasp and hit him and bounced off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tried to get away.
She was a badass.
And even when Hank came, and I don't remember who said it, but they're like, Ant-Man. They called him Ant-Man because he had brought all the ants. So I like that the title was like a dual thing. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it.
Even though it seemed like Michael Douglas wasn't in it like that much, but I mean, the time he was in it, he was good. It just almost seemed like he was kind of a background character too. And it's like, I mean, I get it, because it's like he's not to this story, he's not really as important as the other characters are, per se. Except for
I don't know if I would say that, because I mean, literally, it was his aunts that came and saved.
No, but I'm saying it's like,
it's like, yeah, they did.
But he wasn't really in it. But for like, as far as like having lines and being like an active member of what was going on, he really wasn't part of it.
He's also almost 80 years old.
He's 78.
So that might be one of those things where it's like, okay, you know what? We'll keep him in here. But maybe he was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to do a whole bunch of stuff. Just give me.
I'm going to give you what I can give you.
Right. Give me some simple lines and just let's close out this character on a happy note or whatever. I mean, they saved all the action stuff for Scott and Hope, which was good. Michelle Pfeiffer proved that she still got little skills, because I was like, oh, they got her doing fight scenes. I was like, wait, she has fought in movies before. Okay. But yeah, so I think it was good what we did see from him, because again, you are reminded that he's Hank Pym. He can do some shit. And it doesn't have to be the fighting stuff. You know, he's old, he's giving the suit to Scott and all this other stuff, but he still knows how to do some shit.
I'm sorry, I had to flash back to What If.
Yeah, because okay.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, because like Anthony said, I don't want to focus on the negative stuff, because again, it wasn't a lot of negative. Like, I actually enjoyed the movie. And one of the things that I do like about the Ant-Man films is that they are separate. Like, you know that he's a part of the Avengers, but if you didn't know that, you could take his movies and you could watch it without all of the other stuff. Like, none of the, yes, some of the Thanos stuff kind of fell into place, or affected the storyline as far as Cassie and Scott's, how they relate to each other, and just the kind of undercurrent about Cassie's resentment about him not being there, and about him now, oh, you saved the world and now what are you doing? You're just doing book tours. You could still be doing stuff. I got that part. I think the other thing for me with that is that in the promos for the film, the way that they were kind of making it seem was that Scott was considering helping Kang, because, and of course, when they do the trailers, they always take some of the dialogue and they'll show it with a scene that has nothing to do with that dialogue. But the promos kind of made it seem like Kang offered Scott, hey, if you help me, I can send it back so that nothing ever happened. And it's basically the dialogue that he said to Janet. I can send you home. It can be like no time has passed. She won't even remember that you were gone. And I felt like they were making it seem like he was applying that to Scott. And then when it didn't happen like that in the movie, I was just I guess I was a little disappointed. Because yeah, I understand the dude was threatening your child and you were like, okay, I'll do it. But I don't know. I feel like you have been up against a big bad before. So you should have, I don't know. Maybe I was just, I don't know. It just, that threw me off. So I don't know. But I did like the fact that they made the quantum realm a little bit more complex than we saw in the second film. That was the second film, right? Then we saw, no, that was the first film. When they rescued her.
They rescued her in two.
Second.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they made the quantum realm seem a little more complex than it was when we saw in the second film. But it was so weird, because when they did the shot of Kang looking down on his army and everything, it reminded me of Independence Day, when all of the aliens were getting ready to attack Earth. It also felt a little, I'm trying to think, a little bit Clone Wars or Star Wars with the stormtroopers. I was just like, oh, okay. So it's almost like they're in outer space, but they're in this quantum realm. And then you see all these other things. You've got the moving buildings. Now the part where they came across that little community, that was kind of funny, but I also felt like they were trying too hard to be funny in those scenes. Like the guy with the mental telepathy, just, I think they played that joke.
Love him.
I love him, but I felt like they played that joke about Ant-Man thinking things and he was like, stop thinking it. Stop. Okay, that's enough. Blah, blah. I felt like that joke played a few seconds too long. And it was just, I don't know. I feel like some of the humor.
It felt like a James Gunn movie. That's what.
Okay, because now if we gonna talk about humor, we gonna talk about Thor too. So
like
it
felt like a James Gunn movie, and like I thought the probability Scots, I thought that went too far. Like I got the idea, but then it became like this thing, and then it just seemed ridiculous. And then they did it with
that
Hope. It became kind of ridiculous. So
Hope
it was too much. They didn't do her as much as they did him, but it was just. It was too much.
I was okay with that. I was okay with stop thinking that because that's Scott, because we hear him talking. We always hear his thoughts, and he's like that. Mm-hmm. But the holes was enough.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm full of holes.
Right. But I actually liked that character because you always think when you go into a different environment, how are we all going to understand each other? But all we had to do is just drink some red juice. We had
his goo.
I did not need to know where that juice came from. And I was like,
you drink my goo.
And then, translations happen. I love it.
I love that part. That was
cool, yeah. But I was done with him saying, oh, now I have holes, and when am I gonna have holes? And
or how many holes?
The coolest character was the one with the flame cylinder turbine in his head. I thought he was kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked him.
He was dope.
I like that character.
Kane busted him up good though.
The leader character. I can't remember what her name was, but I swear I spent the whole movie thinking she was Keisha Castle Hughes because she looked like her, and I was like, "Is that her? Is that her?" Then I had to look it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's not her."
Yeah,
but she was reminding me of. She was reminding me of Ibara Sand from Game of Thrones, just the way she moved, she talked.
She does.
But I liked her character. I would like to see more of that character. Because she was, she was a warrior and she was a leader and she still had compassion for her friends, and she was still like, okay, yeah, let's go kick Kane's ass. And I liked her character,
Mm-hmm.
The actress Katie O'Brien's done a lot of spot stuff. The reason you think you saw her before was because she did 2 episodes of The Walking Dead. She did a couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was in Black Lightning. She was in The Rookie.
Okay.
She's had a lot of bit roles in a lot of places. So there's probably a good reason why you think you've seen her before.
Okay.
And The Mandalorian. She was in 4 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, she was. I remember her now.
Okay.
The moving buildings was funny. He was like,
that was awesome.
Your buildings are moving, yours don't.
No, your buildings are. Wait, are your buildings dead?
No, the moment in the battle where the one building was holding the other building while that building was dying, I was like, "Oh, that's terrible." Wait, I feel bad for buildings dying. What's going on here?
They're alive.
But I was like, okay, that's cool as shit though. That was cool.
But I think too. Also speaking of people who were in this, I can never remember this dude's name. That's what is his name? Dalmatian.
David Dalmatian.
Yes, him.
Dalmatian. That's Dalmatian. Yeah.
See. Because he wasn't the character that we knew from Scott's crew.
No, he was.
He was the red goo guy.
Yeah, he was the red goo guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen some of Scott's old crew.
We'll have to. But this is hard, and I was telling Anthony, I had 2 points, but the first point is this is going to be difficult because there were some people who really like Ant-Man and they like the heist and they like that it was set more in a realistic realm for them, and now this is making you really think outside of the box and expand your universe, which is going to be difficult for some friends. I think those are the ones that are not really caring for the movie. And then I saw something, second point is I saw something saying how we have a plot hole because if Michelle Pfeiffer was so scared of the quantum zone, everything, then why during not Endgame, what's the other one? Infinity War, were they visiting, still having Scott go in there? But I have a theory for that.
No, but it was a different part. It was wait.
That's
okay,
that's
I'll say I want to say my explanation because I want to hear your theory. So please,
well, my theory is just like she told them when they were like, "My gosh, there's cities and there's different cultures," and she said, "Yeah, there's a deeper layer." So if she was worried, she knows that Kane is in the deeper layer. So when she's helping them, she's going to put Scott when they were traveling in the quantum realm into just the surface level, the crust.
Hey, I think you have an idea there.
Yeah, that's all I was. So I don't think it's a plot hole. I'm just thinking like she knows where to go and where not to go, and they were just going into the surface level to do the research. Then,
because
like she would have told Cassie, "You may not want to see in the scene of that deep."
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're not mapping out
there. I think the thing that would make the plot hole in that instance is that she didn't know how deep Cassie was going. She was just like, "You're sending that signal to the quantum realm," and she immediately panicked. So my thing is, if the quantum realm is something for her to be that scared of, like to the point where she never even talked about her experiences down there, then why would you assist Scott getting down there? I mean,
well, if you remember in the second one, when they send him into the quantum realm, she only send him into like she said, the upper crust level, just to gather quantum material. Because she warned him, if you go to get caught in a quantum tunnel, you can be lost forever and we'll never get you back. So
how does she not know that's what Cassie wasn't doing?
That's why
Cassie
was saying she wouldn't tell her what she was doing, and then Cassie said she's trying to do a GPS on the whole quantum realm, and she's like, "Oh no, we're not doing that." Okay. She's trying to spotlight the whole entire.
She's trying to map the whole thing.
Yeah, she's trying to map it.
Right. Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
That's when you get scared. Like, oh no, don't dig too deep. Don't dig too deep.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can
does not mean just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think what else was there. Again, the whole MODOK thing just bothered me. Took way too much time.
Dumb. It was dumb,
especially towards the end, like the whole little stupid thing. And I died an Avenger. Yeah, you did. I was like, what? Like, why?
They were like, just let him take it.
Just let him go with it.
Let him go. Just let him. He's going to die. Just let him go.
He's going to die. Let's let him. Yeah. Let's go with it.
Like Avengers, sure. You're the president of the Avengers. Congratulations. We'll see you later. Well, it doesn't matter. He's gone.
Another thing that just got on my nerves, I'm so sorry, everyone, was I wish I was there for you, Cassie. I wish I was there for you, Cassie. Peanut, we don't have time for this shit, okay? Yeah. Talk to her later about being there for her. I mean, if y'all say that one more time, Cassie, Daddy, Peanut, I wish I was there. That got on my nerves.
That moment that Kane called her Peanut, where she was like, "The fuck." Like that was actually, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good piece of writing right there.
I like that part because it's kind of like one of those things where they're still trying to figure out just how much Janet knew, and then like especially once she starts telling the story about how she met Kang and how she helped him and this, that, and the other. It's like, again, you feel her fear, even though up till this point you haven't really seen anything. Like, if I went into this movie not knowing anything about Kane, I would have been looking at this like, why do they think he's so dangerous? Because he's been nice, he's been polite, he's been, basically very human. He was kind of scared and upset when she first saw him, and when she was sitting there talking to him about her daughter, he was very empathetic and he was very friendly. And it was one of those things where I was like, if you don't know anything about him, you're like, okay, so what's so bad about him? And then once you realize and you start seeing the later stuff, like when you see how everybody reacts about him, about the Conqueror. Oh, he did this, he did that. And it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like it's almost like a hand creeping up your spine. Like, oh yeah, we're going to reveal this to you very, very slowly. But even at the end of the movie, I kind of felt like yeah, he was this big bad thing, but I wouldn't put him on the level of like a Thanos. But again, like you said, Michelle, we were able to build up to Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like we knew from the jump Thanos was a bad, that was a bad thing. When your first glimpse of him is him saying, "Oh, I need to go do this myself because everybody that you sent to do your dirty work has failed." We already knew Thanos was a bad guy from jump. This whole thing with Kang, the way they were in this movie, it's almost like you see a villain origin story where he's good and then he turns and then you realize, oh no, he's always been this way, and then you get it in the middle and it's just kind of like.
But see, I'm not entirely well. One of the best parts of the movie to me was when Scott was. I don't like internal dialogue, but when he had his internal dialogue at the end, like, wait, he told us that if we got rid of him, something worse was coming. Did we mess up? Did we make a mistake?
Yeah.
Did he really die?
So if you listen to Kang, and when he asked Janet, what did you see?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you destroyed entire timelines. Like, you killed trillions of people, just wiped them out of existence. And he's like, well, I have a reason for it. Like, not to bring back Loki again, but He Who Remains kind of did the same thing. Like, he eliminated all the other timelines, so there would be one. Mm-hmm. This King is kind of like the same way. He's like, I'm eliminating all of the possibilities because, whatever happens at the end is the worst that it could be.
He said you don't want that to happen.
You don't want that to happen. So I'm not entirely convinced he's completely bad. Like, maybe his method was a little bit off, but then He Who Remains, his method wasn't any better. Like, he found this creature, he weaponized and wiped everybody out. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's interesting that Marvel keeps coming up with these characters. It's just that he's not as gray. He's still more, black and white than the other ones. But you can kind of see where he's coming from. He's like, I'm doing this because technically he's trying to save people. Mm-hmm. All those other timelines shouldn't exist. And whatever he's doing, all of him is doing is wrong. And there's, we want to end the multiversal war. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but at the end of this, he wasn't saying that. He was saying he gonna take out revenge on the people who had locked him up.
Well, it works hand in hand.
I know, but still,
he's still eliminating all the timelines he gets to do.
His focus is revenge right now. So,
but it's gonna accomplish the same goal.
Okay.
Let's talk about those folks who locked him up, because first post credit scene, that's a lot of damn Kangs.
The Council of Kangs.
I can't believe that's one of the most iconic comic book scenes ever. Like, when people talk about it, they were like, when people were talking about this movie, they were like, there's no chance they're going to be able to pull it off and make it look right. They pulled that shit off. That shit looked incredible.
Yeah. And there's obviously a hierarchy of Kangs too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's so funny because when you see the ones in the crowd, when the main three, I guess that's the big council or the
small council.
Small council, whatever. They're the one, when they walked out, the reaction of the other Ks, like Jonathan Majors,
is fantastic. He's awesome.
He ran the gamut of emotions in this film, because he had one of them acting like a fanboy. He was
yeah. How many of those did he have to do for them to get there? Yeah. And then he had a little notebook where he kept track of, okay, I did this one. Okay, let me do this one now.
Yeah,
perfect.
But then you got the second post-credit scene where you have a version of Kang, and I didn't see what year it is. I think it's sometime in the future.
No, it was early 1900s.
Yeah,
it was like
Okay, I couldn't remember. Mm-hmm. But he's up on
in the comic books. In the comic books, it would have been 1901. I don't know.
Okay.
If this is between 1900 and 1920.
Okay. But in the audience of that one, that's where we see Loki looking like, oh shit, like, this is a bad dude. This is bad. This is bad. And then you see Mobius next to him. Like, who is he? Why is he bad? And I was like, wait, hold up. What are y'all doing? Because the end of Loki, Mobius didn't even know who Loki was because of everything that happened. I was like, okay, So y'all just gave us the tease for season 2, but I need more. Like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
So is season 2 going to be them hunting down the variants of Kang?
Yeah, so he had to explain to Mobius what's going on. They hunt him down, but just the fear that Loki was showing was like, okay, this is serious.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, in the crowd, like watching, like a lot of us got it, and then some people was like, I don't know what's going on.
Did y'all still have people get up before the first end credit scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? I don't know why.
I heard some people on the way out, because I had to run to the bathroom like after the first end credit scene, because I knew the credits would be long. Some people walking out, a couple people were like, yeah, I'll just watch it when I get home on TV. I'll look it up on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I heard there were some people talking about it. They were like, yeah, I don't have to stay for this. I'll just watch it later. So yeah, that could be something else that factors. I never thought of that, but that could be something that factors into some people just not wanting to stay for the whole end credits when they can just look it up on YouTube.
Well, I thought that too, because if you wasn't going to make it back, I was like, well, we'll just watch it on YouTube later.
Okay, yeah.
But you made it back, so
I don't know. I guess I like the experience of just sitting there and watching it.
I do too.
So. It's almost like, you got a present in the form of the movie, and then, oh, I have another small gift for you. Oh, I have another small gift for you. That's kind of how I feel about the end credit scenes at movies. And it's not just Marvel, because I'm noticing other films are starting to do that as well. So
right.
I don't know. I like it, but
the three Kangs that were in the first post-credit scene, Immortus was the older one. The one that looked like a pharaoh was Ramatut, and the other one people are saying is the Scarlet Centurion.
Or also it could have been Iron Lad. Was it
Iron Lad? Yeah. Iron Lad. Nathaniel Richardson. Yeah.
Okay.
Immortus is the one I'm most familiar with.
Yeah, Immortus is the one that actually fought the real Kang. Like he's Kang's main adversary, as it were.
To be honest, like most of those storylines dealing with Kang in the comic books, I would look at the covers. Oh, it's got Kang in it. That's all right. I don't want to read that. I'm serious. Kang was always this weird villain for the Fantastic Four. It literally made me stop reading Fantastic Four because trying to keep up with Nathaniel Richards and Immortus, and I just say I can't. I just can't. I just put it down.
Okay. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to keep up with.
It's a lot. And again, a lot of it has to do with time travel. So
for you,
so for me, I was like, wait, Kang and Immortus are the same person, but it doesn't make any sense. And then you're like, oh wait, there's other versions of him. That's all right. I don't need to read this.
Okay, I get it.
And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Victor Timely. That's going to be fun in Loki. Like I'm wondering how many variants they're going to actually have in there.
An infinite number.
I mean,
it's gonna be fun.
I did like the way that they were telling Kang's story with the multiverse and the timelines, and we said this when we were watching Loki, the way that they kind of explained it and the graphics and the visuals that they gave us for the timeline, and the way that they kind of enhanced it for this movie. I liked that part because it was almost like when he was talking about it, and you could kind of see the timelines as they're diverging and different. I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. But again, it's kind of like I'm still figuring out this whole multiverse thing and how it works and how it relates to time travel. And like, I mean, I won't say I don't like time travel stuff because I do, but I don't understand it.
I
think I enjoy it because I don't understand it, because I'm just like, okay, this just happens, it's similar to like when we watch Outlander. It's kind of like, okay, so what part came first? Like, we know she time traveled back and then all this other stuff happened, but then you see it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? What part of time travel comes first, and like what is the origin point, and how do I don't know.
And another thing about that post-credit scene, it seems like apparently the Kangs had come to some sort of ceasefire because it didn't seem like they were warring with each other because they called them all together to talk about this issue. Mm-hmm. And the issue was the exile being killed. Because up until that point, they probably thought they were sort of invincible. And even though they exiled them, oh wait, maybe these people might be a bit more of a threat than we thought they were, because they killed one of us.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of the gist I got as well.
Yeah, so we have to take care of this.
Yeah.
But which reminds me of the part where Scott first saw him and he was like, Avenger? Which Avenger are you? I kill so many. Like the one with the hammer.
Are you doing with the hammer?
Right. He was like, no, I see how they all start to blur together. They all start to
blur together. Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of the things that He Who Remains said at the end of that episode, now it's like it makes sense now. Everything he said. He's like, yeah, you don't want a whole bunch of me, an infinite number of me running around wrecking shit. You really don't.
And it looks like we're about to get an infinite number of him running around and wrecking shit.
Yeah, because with the exile, I don't know if the exiles, now I'm confused between the two, but one of them said what's going to happen is they're going to start warring again. And there's going to be another multiversal war. And, I've seen the end, and we don't like what's at the end. So,
and I really need you to tell me what's at the end, because let me make my decision on my own about what's at the end, because the end may not be so bad. I mean, just tell me. I'm tired of hearing, but at the end, it's worse. At the end, what's the end?
I mean, the end is the new Budapest.
Just tell me the end. At least we knew what Thanos was saying. You know what I'm saying? And we can also have a panel about him being a villain too, or a hero trying to save the planet. But that's neither.
He was an eco-terrorist.
Right. Well, yeah.
He was a sociopath. He was a sociopath. He
was really trying to. He did. He cared for the world. He wanted it to survive and to live better than how he did. Yeah. It's just that's not how you go about.
He wanted to make sure everyone had the resources to thrive and survive.
That's why I love the What If episode where he was trying to explain himself.
Yeah.
But he did explain what his mission was. This is what I am doing.
Yeah.
Kang, I'm just knowing that we don't want to get to the end, but the end may not be so bad. So can you give me
I just feel like it's one of those things where if he tells us the end, then that will change what the end is. So maybe that's why he's not saying anything.
I was going to say the end, right?
It's kind of like one of those things where you breathe life into something. Like he knows what's quote unquote at the end. And if he actually says it, maybe him saying that out loud would change something in the multiverse to where
exactly. It's like Endgame. It's like Endgame. There was only one outcome that would benefit them, but he couldn't tell Tony because it would have changed it.
Yeah,
right.
You had to wait.
Maybe the thing that brought all the Kangs together was exiling the exile. Like maybe he was such a threat to everyone that they had to band together to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And they kind of brought him all.
The problem is you. We're going to get rid of you, and then maybe we'll all live peacefully. I mean, kind of like if you think about it, similar to Multiverse of Madness, when oh Lord, my mind just went blank. When they were getting ready to get rid of Doctor Strange, they were like, yeah, you know what? In every multiverse, the issue is you. Yeah, you're the reason why all the bad stuff happens. So if we just kill you, then everything will be fixed. Or I mean, think about that with other time travel things. Jet Li's the one. What was he doing? He was trying to go and kill all the alternate versions of himself, so there would only be one person. He would have all the power and blah blah blah. Maybe it's something similar with this. I don't know, but I will just say. The Council of Kangs, or that Congregation of Kangs, whatever you want to call it, that looks like something you don't want to have unleashed.
No.
Collective. That's gonna be dope, though. I mean, I can't wait to see, because there's gonna be a scene like kind of like in Age of Ultron when they were fighting in that circular kind of alcove where all the Ultrons were coming at them and they were like all fighting them. There's going to be a scene like that with whichever group they put together of New Avengers, Young Avengers, Old Avengers, Avenged Avengers, whatever group super group they put together. There's going to be like a group fight of like all the Kangs coming at them and them like going like fighting and that one cumulative battle scene is going to be fucking dope.
As long as it doesn't look as bad as the Matrix Reloaded Big Brawl. As long as it doesn't look that bad, I'll be okay.
Well, technology, we shouldn't have that. So if we're going to fit everything together, here's my question, because y'all have more information about this. So how would this fit with Secret Wars? Like, what is Secret Wars separate from this? Because before, when we had our phases up to Endgame, things work together. So how does this Secret War gonna work together?
Instead of fighting each other, they have the worlds fight. Like they put their champions against each other. And so
different timelines
timelines fight each other as opposed to the Kangs fighting each other.
Yeah, Secret War.
It's like in Far From Home if all the Peters were fighting each other.
Yeah, and if your war loses, your timeline is eliminated.
I know, but how's this going to work? I mean, we're about to get Secret War episodes. How would this all work together? Or is this going to be something totally separate?
Are you talking about Secret Invasion?
I'm sorry, Secret Invasion.
Oh, Secret Invasion is something different. That's something
totally separate. So we're not even trying to connect.
Well, I don't know how they are going to connect them, but Secret Invasion is not the same as Secret Wars. It's two different.
No, I meant Secret Invasion. How are they going to connect this to Kang? That's what I'm saying. If he's the big villain, how's this?
This is different. Secret Invasion has more to do with the Marvels than it does this movie.
Okay. You mean the Marvels that they just pushed to November?
They pushed it back 2 weeks. I'd rather have a perfect movie and wait 2 weeks.
They pushed it to November.
Yeah, they pushed it to almost like 6 months.
Yeah, they pushed it.
I thought it was like from November 8th to November 28th.
It was originally supposed to come out in June.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I'd rather have a good movie than have them talk about the way they talk about the other Captain Marvel. But yeah, because Secret Invasion and the Marvels probably have more to do with each other than the other one does.
Okay.
Yeah. So and tying them together is really going to be like maybe incidental. It's an incidental story to the Secret Wars.
Like it's like tying the Scrolls to the Marvels, then the Marvels to fighting in Secret Wars. It's like that's the only way that it can really connect.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, even with the first the Avengers sagas, they kind of did something similar where you have this movie tied to this movie, and then these movies way over here tied to this movie, and then like towards later, those two entities kind of you start seeing them piece them together. So I feel like that's probably what they're gonna do here too. It's kind of like, okay, all of the phase the phase 4 stuff is one way of tying things together. Now we're starting phase 5 and we have this and we have this, and now we've got like
it'll be similar to like what happened with Thanos is like when Odin died in a different movie and we lost Hela also, like all the obstacles that would have stood in his way were gone. Mm-hmm. Like all the people that could have challenged him were gone. And that made it easy for him to come. So Secret Invasion could be one of those things where it sort of destabilizes some things to make it easier for the Kangs to do what they want to do.
Or I just have to understand that it was perfect the first go round and it may not be so perfect the second go round.
There was some happy coincidences and they did some retconning.
Right, they did. But one thing that they used that intertwined was using parts of the stones. That's what helped. It wasn't necessarily Thanos. It was just place a stone there in the corner of the room, or place his glove over there in the corner of the room. You know what I'm saying? Or just say one word about somebody else who's stronger, and then you move on. Mm-hmm. But that was magical. That magic's not going to happen again.
Yeah. But I think the other thing too is, and I'm not complaining about the level of the amount of content that's coming out, But they announced, I believe it was last week, that Kevin Feige did say that they're going to scale down on the number of Disney Plus shows that they're doing. And I think, as much as I love the new content and all the stuff, I think that's a smart decision because, like you say, Anthony, like, we are the ones that are like the fans that are like, oh, give us every single thing and we'll watch it. We'll sit here and we'll figure out how it connects and how this connects and how it goes back to this and stuff. We'll sit there and do that. But for the average fan, which right now probably does outnumber the diehard fans, if you will, they don't want to have to go through 5 different shows and 3 different movies just to get the bigger picture. So
I wonder if after She-Hulk, they took a long look at themselves and was like, you know what, maybe we are doing too much. Like, they look at their slate and they're like, yeah, we had a lot of stuff that we're trying to push out in a short amount of time. Yeah. Maybe we need to scale back. But I also heard a rumor that Kevin Feige might be moving up in the world too at Disney. So that may have something to do with it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Because I don't know, like, I'm sure someone could follow in his footsteps and probably, I'm sure if they put somebody in place behind him, it's going to be somebody that can keep the momentum going. But it's going to be so weird to think about that, considering like all of this started because of his idea, his vision.
Yeah.
And so if he were to step up and not be that face of Marvel that we're used to seeing, how would that look?
Well, the cool thing is he's already charted out the path for the next 10 years. I think he's got the path charted out. So we're good. It's just after what's going to happen beyond those 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And they just need to keep people.
Oh, help DC.
Hopefully.
No. If he gets a promotion to executive vice president of entertainment at Disney, he's not going to go to.
No, I'm just saying they need help. Anybody, his son or something, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, I don't know. It will be interesting to see with the properties that follow next in this phase, how this Ant-Man movie will tie in, and whether or not the decisions they made for this movie make sense. Like, we know Kang is going to be the common thread through all of this, but as far as like the Ant-Man characters and that sort of thing, I just want to see how they're going to tie in, because right now I think Ant-Man is really, I think he's the only Avenger that we're getting like new content from, aside from like Sam, but that's later on. And yeah, so
I don't know. When I step back and look at what they've done so far, they have, I'm talking about Marvel and Kevin Feige, they've given us 3 movies to try to drill into our heads this whole multiverse thing. Like, they are all in on this multiverse thing. They've given us the alternate realities, the alternate, even with Miss Marvel, they've given us that there's another plane of existence. And then the whole thing with Thor, with Love and Thunder, we get the gods influencing all these different societies. So they're giving us stuff, and I think they're setting us up for some really good things. But I do find it interesting that the 3 biggest movies are all movies about the multiverse. Like, they really are trying to make sure that the general people that we are talking about, that they kind of understand what's happening. Like, if you see Spider-Man No Way Home, if you see Doctor Strange and, the Multiverse of Madness, you watch Quantumania, okay, we get it. This phase is going to be about multiverses and different versions of characters.
And Mania.
Yeah.
Mania Madness.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I think I said this before when we first started talking about Marvel getting ready to delve into a multiverse saga. that they have to be really careful about how they do this, or it's going to be a huge mess, and it's either going to be great or it's going to fail miserably. And it's like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly concerned at this point. I'm just because I mean, you can't. I I understand that you can't really have like as far flung opinions about something that introduces a crucial phase, like as this movie. Like this was already kind of an odd choice of movie to start with, because Ant-Man wasn't one of your, while it was good, it wasn't like a signature, one of your signature heroes. Like their movies have always been received with like, yeah, it was good. You don't want, I mean, I would have rather them put something out there that people already know is going to be like, holy fuck, that's incredible. Just to kind of get you hyped up for, to start it off and get you hyped for the rest of it.
Okay.
And it's like I kind of feel like that was a misstep, but I mean, there were certain parts of it that actually gave you a glimpse of it that actually kind of that would make you positive about what's going to happen. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly concerned about how this is going to pull off. I mean, I guess we'll have to wait to see Secret Invasion to see how that's going to turn out. I mean, because Guardians really, unless they like, and wait to see what they introduce in Guardians 3. But I don't think Guardians 3 is really going to have anything that's going to be pertinent to this phase. It's just kind of an endpoint for James Gunn.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think so. Just based on what I've seen from the trailer so far, it doesn't look like it's really gonna have anything to do with the multiverse.
Unless Adam Warlock is going to have something big to do with Phase 5. I just don't see that having that big of an impact on like what's going to happen as far as all that. So I mean,
well we also have to put stuff in place for Secret Wars as well. So this may not be necessary. It may not be necessarily a Kang movie. It may be a movie that is starting to establish some things for Secret Wars.
Yeah, or by itself, because the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies didn't really pertain, did it? Not the second one with the dad.
Well, yeah, true.
Did it?
No.
True.
No, I really didn't.
Only one of them. I can't remember which one, first one or second one. Did they talk about the stone first, or the collector who had the stone, and that was it. That was the first one.
Well, the first movie, they were trying to get a stone.
Yeah, okay, there we go. But then the second movie, that was just about Dad and who Quinn was.
Like the last two movies of this phase are Thunderbolts and Blade. And Blade was supposed to be earlier. Like, it's supposed to be in this year, and it's already been pushed back to September of next year. So it's like they're already kind of going out of order. But I don't know how Blade is going to... Blade being the last movie of this phase is going to actually set up what's coming in phase 6. So
I still say that we're going to be looking at things to set up Secret Wars as well. Like, they've got two things they got to do. They got to do, Kang Dynasty, and they got to do Secret Wars. So they kind of have to still put pieces in place and still tell stories, but still put pieces in place. Like Adam Warlock is going to be a piece. Blade, the Black Knight, all these things, they're going to be pieces in the coming story.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, because we're going to have to wait until 2025 or 2026 to see how all this really shakes out. So it's like,
because I'm looking
at have to wait to see how they handle it.
I'm looking at the slate now. So we're not getting Secret Wars maybe until May 2026.
Yeah.
And in between that, film-wise, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels. That's for this year. Next year, we've got Captain America New World Order, The Thunderbolts, Blade, Deadpool 3. Then in 2025, Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and then an untitled movie, which I don't know what that's supposed to be. And then, you know, you have all the Disney Plus series, the What If Season 2, Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, Ironheart, Echo, Agatha Coven of Chaos, and then Daredevil Born Again. So it's, I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to try to fit into this one storyline. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of, because I don't know the comics and I don't know what direction the comics take. Is all of that gonna, like, is Deadpool 3 really gonna have anything to do with the multiverse? Like, that's, you know,
it could and it couldn't. It depends on it depends. It really depends.
It may or may not. But again, remember, we still have to get Secret War set up as well.
We need Fantastic Four in there too, right?
Yeah, well, Fantastic Four
is not until 2025. That's what I'm saying. Secret Wars, like, I understand we're setting up Secret Wars, but Secret Wars is still 3 years away. So
yeah, and how far away was Endgame from, you know, the first Iron Man movie?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was. And,
come on now.
Also, they weren't.
And that's where we first saw Thanos in the first Avengers movie, and it took all that time to get there.
Yeah, but I guess the thing I'm looking at is in that first phase, we didn't have the additional TV shows to also factor in to the story. So it just seems like with so much content that we have to get through for the next 3 years, it's kind of like, okay, is all of this really going to go into this one
no
quote unquote end game, or are they going to split? Like, once Kang Dynasty airs, which is that's May of 2025, Secret Wars will be a year later. So will the Kang stuff still be relevant for Secret Wars? See, again, I don't
know. Secret Wars will be because of Kang. That's Secret Wars is going to be something they're going to do. And you're right. Not all of this stuff will be related to Kang or Secret Wars.
Okay.
Like, I don't see how Echo would have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? So you're right. Not everything is going to, but there are going to be a lot of things that will be.
Okay.
I mean, when we get down to street level stuff like Daredevil and Echo and all that, some of that stuff is not going to be that important.
Right.
But Fantastic Four would be, because, of course, you know, traditionally Fantastic Four is a Kang adversary.
Right.
So it makes sense for them to do that. And a lot of the characters like Spider-Man are very important to Secret Wars.
Okay.
So we have to at some point get some of these characters introduced and established. They may not necessarily, their movie may not necessarily relate to the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, but the mere fact that the character was introduced, when they do show up, we won't be like, who the fuck is that?
Okay. Yeah. You know? Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, their stories may not be related to it, but the character will be.
Okay. All right. I guess I mean, I don't think I really have anything else to say about Ant-Man. Like I said, it wasn't wasn't a, oh my God, I love this movie, but it wasn't a, oh, I hate this movie, why did they make it? I liked it. I enjoyed it. There were parts of it that did irritate me, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. You know, and I like Ant-Man. I like Scott's character. I like the fact that he's this, you know, kind of carefree, happy-go-lucky type guy. And I feel like, you know, with all the seriousness that is in the Marvel stories, we need characters like him to just kind of break up the drama. So yeah.
Right. And then you also know from him when it's really serious. So now you also know it's starting to be serious because he's having those doubts come into his mind where he's happy-go-lucky, like, did we kill him? What was he talking about? And even at the dinner table when they were having the birthday, he's still like, I don't feel so great.
Yeah.
Something's about to happen.
Yeah.
So then we know, okay, something serious is about to happen because he's not happy-go-lucky about everything.
And we still have to, I know this is off the subject, but you made me think of the ending of Shang-Chi when they had the signal coming to the rings that we don't know what that has to do with anything.
You're right.
So we have a lot of things that are set up for was coming.
Yeah.
Also,
the other thing I liked about this one, we got to see Wong. I was happy
Jimmy
about
Woo.
that just briefly.
Oh,
Jimmy Woo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, Wong. What was he?
Me too. I was like, I missed that.
I'm sorry.
That was my shout out. You stole my. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I was.
No, it's cool. I'm glad they fit that in because remember at the end of I mean that when in Ant-Man and the Wasp, he was like, "Yeah, I'll see you later." It's like, "Are you inviting me to lunch?" He's like, "No, I'm not inviting you to lunch."
And then we see him at lunch.
And they're at lunch.
Cute. That was cute. So yeah.
Also, if you notice at the end of the movie, it's like I kind of noticed it, but it didn't really like hit me. But then it's like shout to Eric Voss. I was watching New Rock Stars, and he pointed out that at the end where he was walking down the street again doing his thing, there was a lot of purple and green like everywhere. Like you'll notice that there's like shots of like people wearing purple, and then like the cake was green, and those are Kang's colors.
Yeah, so I will say this. I was worried when he was walking down the street. He was like, "Well, Kang did say that we'd see him again. Like, did I do something?" And when he started having those doubts, I was almost expecting Kang to show up, and that's why I thought looking like.
I thought it was going to manifest where he was going to start seeing. I don't know if y'all saw the last Suicide Squad, but it's like Polka Dot Man, like his power, like he would see his mother's face on everybody. And that's why he was killing people. But I was afraid that he was going to start seeing like Kang's face on people. Like all of a sudden, it's just like it's almost like the wedding episode of A Different World where Whitley started seeing Dwayne's face on everybody.
Yeah,
I was thinking of
Kangy, please.
I was thinking of Neo in the Matrix when he would see Agent Smith just everywhere. So yeah, I really was like, okay, is Kang going to show up and be like, "Hi, Scott"? That was what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that what the fuck moment, but it didn't come, so it's okay. I just have a feeling that, like I said, I feel like they only gave us a taste of what Kang is going to be. And I'm like, if that's just the taste, what we got of him at the end, this is about to be rough.
Yeah.
But
like I said,
I really need some ants. Take them out.
It's like I wanted to love this movie so bad, but it's like I just kind of liked it. It's like I still had fun. It's like I still had fun. I would watch it again. It's just not like it's not in the same vein as like when I watched Spider-Man: Far From Home. Like I love. I don't
know too many movies that are going to be like that. Like that was on a whole different level.
Yeah,
for and a lot of different reasons.
And I'd probably watch it one more time, then I'd probably be done with it. But it's just like because there's certain things that I want to see the end credit scenes again, like be able to like actually stop and look and watch them again, like on Disney Plus. I'd want to do that, but it's like certain parts. I think I'd probably want to watch it again just to confirm, just say, man, maybe I missed something. If I missed something, or I can watch their performances again. But it's like this movie is like it's like a 3 out of 5 for me. I'm like, it's like okay, it's a mid-tier. It's a mid-tier Marvel movie. It's like it's not going to get over like my not really in top 20 for me.
Yeah,
maybe.
I still feel like it was better than Eternals.
See, I can't say that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or Thor: Dark World.
I still haven't seen Thor: Dark World.
You know what? And on that note, that's going to be it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel. You can chat with us on our Discord channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.